to What's the Stitch. I'm Ariane, and this is Kat.
Hello.
Yes. We're doing a video podcast this week, so if you're just sitting over there on the Spotify, just turn it off and head on over to our YouTube channel, because we're going to be doing some yarn reviews this week, so you might as well just watch it and see what we're talking about to see which yarns that you really like, what you might want to get. But of course, we're going to start out with some chitty chat, because this is a podcast also, and we're friends with each other. Mm-hmm. So that's just what we do every week. So how is life?
Oh man, life is good. We had not only a tropical storm, but also an earthquake this weekend.
That was yesterday.
That was yesterday?
That was yesterday.
No, it was 2 days ago.
No.
Okay.
Yesterday.
Alright, well it was yesterday.
If you don't live in Los Angeles, it was quite a weekend for us.
Yes, it was a lot of rain coming from like Hurricane Hillary. So I didn't really leave my house. I was just like, I'm not going to go out in the rain. I'm just going to like sit in here and crochet and work. And then I ran out of yarn.
Uh-huh. That happens.
Yeah, but it was good. The earthquake, my boyfriend was taking a nap and I was like, oh my god, was that an earthquake? He's like, what? No.
Oh, you felt it?
Yeah.
Really?
Did you not?
Well, we just got into my house and then the phone started going off. It was like, earthquake alert, 2:41 p.m. And it was 2:41 p.m.
Yeah.
And it said Ventura County. And I was like, where is that?
Yeah.
I don't know how far away that is. And then I like looked over and my hanging plant was like swinging. Mm-hmm. I was like, is that just the air conditioning? And then like the blind, like the toggle to like open the blinds, it was also swaying.
Yeah.
And then one of my doors was kind of like creaking. And I was like, is this an earthquake?
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do. And I thought maybe it was just the air conditioning. So I just like, I sat on the floor with my dog. And my plant eventually just stopped moving. Then I was like, oh, I guess it was an earthquake because the plant stopped moving. It's not the air conditioning. But my dog was super confused because I was like holding her still. And she just wanted to walk around. So she was like trying to strain against me holding her collar.
Right.
And then she just gave up and laid down.
She's like, we just got home and now I'm stuck again.
Yeah, she wasn't happy. It was a great weekend.
Anyway.
Well, I went out despite the hurricane and the earthquake.
Yeah.
I went to the yarn store. What? Crazy.
Who would have guessed?
I know. I bought a bunch of fall decorations. It's like the end of August, so I'm getting ready for like the fall season. My decorations are like over there. I've got it on the table. I mean, well, that's not what we're talking about today. You don't need to know about my fall decorations. We'll do a whole episode about fall crochet decor.
That's
so they'll probably make an appearance in that episode. And be like, oh look, that was her shopping trip, you know? So, but it was, I mean, we're from Washington where it rains all the time. Mm-hmm. So the amount of rain that happened just felt like any other Tuesday. Yeah. It was like, oh, it's raining.
It's just like in LA, it floods more. Like the streets get much more like puddly than they do in Seattle.
Drive through the puddle.
Yeah, as long as the puddle's not like too big that your car stalls, that would be sad.
That's true. The little like, dips in the road
There's, like,
make
level.
The puddles so terrible.
Yeah.
Just have a straight road, a flat road. Why is that so hard?
It's hard, apparently.
I don't know what happened to LA.
Okay. Well,
How's
project
update.
Yep,
project.
So I ran out of yarn because I was working on my project yesterday, and then I did not go today to pick up yarn, which I was going to do. But this is one of the squares that I'm doing for my blanket. It's like a granny square puff stitch blanket.
I love it. It's so soft.
Yeah, so I've done like 6 of these now.
6 out of how many?
30.
Okay.
And then I ran out of yarn, so I couldn't keep going.
Well, 6 is good. You know, you bought one thing of yarn. And
we
you got
did
6.
estimate it right, because that's what we were thinking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need 4 more, like.
And you'll have enough to sew them all together too.
I think so, because that's gonna be the white.
Yeah.
So it depends.
It's just so squishy and soft. Like I can imagine like a full like 60 by 70 blanket out of this is gonna be just luxurious and so soft.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
So that's the new project. Much better than the old project.
We don't talk about that one.
We'll talk about it later.
It's like in the graveyard. We don't need this anymore.
Ariane just finished her project though.
Which one are we talking about?
The dress.
Oh yeah. Okay. We're also going to talk about this yarn. It is over here for like the doing the yarn review. But I made like a bodycon like backless dress. It's out of this like Red Heart yarn. Not my favorite yarn, but we'll talk about that. But it's a really cute dress. There will be pictures up on the Instagram. I did not make the pattern for this one. I found the pattern from some designer on the internet, and it was very easy. You know, like the pattern was really simple. It was basically just like do your like measurement and then do this stitch until you get to that many inches, and then you just keep going down, and then you like connect the back. So it was basically just like made to measure. Yeah. So the pattern was just like do the stitch until you get there. And like because of that, I could use whatever yarn I wanted to. I didn't have to do a gauge swatch. I just started making it, and it because I used such a thick yarn, it went pretty quickly. Like I did maybe an hour like every other day and finished it like within 2 weeks. But there were definitely days I didn't work on it, where it's kind of like, that's a lot of work. I'm tired, you know? So but then finished it like day of when I was going to wear it. But, you know, it was really cute. You said a bunch of people, like, hit on me. And that was very entertaining.
It happened.
Yeah.
There were many, like, people looking.
I could not walk to the bathroom. I got stopped twice on the way to the bathroom. Because, like, in the club, bar, it was a bar, but you would, like, walk within, like, a couple inches of people to, like, get through, because the bathroom's in the back. And, like, just having to, like, squish through all these men and be like, excuse me, sorry, like, excuse me. It's just, like, uncomfortable because you're like, I am on a mission.
Yeah.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
But I've had a lot of drinks, and I don't want to trip and die. But, like, I gotta get through, you know?
Heels and alcohol combo.
Yes. Not the greatest. Yes. But, you know, I made it, and then waiting for you to come out of the bathroom.
Oh, no.
Somebody else started talking to me, and, like, I couldn't understand what he was saying. It was just, like, he was talking really quietly and then had some sort of, like, accent where English was not his first language, and
it's loud in that
it was very loud. The music was so loud, and he was trying to say, like, he pointed at me and said something, and then was like, oh, yeah, like, you do the, he was like doing the crochet motion with his hand, and I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I made it. And he was like, oh yes, it looks nice. I don't know what accent it was, but
like Italian.
And I was like, no, it probably wasn't. It's just my badness.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like, oh, it looks good. And I was like, oh yes, thank you. And then like I couldn't understand what he was saying, so I was just like, I'm just gonna look in a different direction until he stops talking to me.
You're like, oh, so interesting, the walls.
Yes, waiting for. Well, I was also holding your drink.
Yeah,
you know, so I was just like, I'm fine by myself, thank you. I was like, normally we've been to the bar like 4 times. No one's ever hit on me, ever.
I don't know. It's the dress.
Yeah, I wore the dress. Yeah, like if you need a dress to wear, this is the one for you. It's like a dude magnet.
Yeah.
Wear it out to a bar. It's gonna work.
And it's nice because you could make it like any length in theory.
Yeah, I made it like mid thigh length. But, like, yeah, you could make it... There was an option for, like, a really short slit. Like, a slit in the side that would come up real short.
Yeah.
And I did not do that.
It's a lot already.
Yeah.
Like a loose stitch dress.
Yeah, it's like I had to wear, like, tan shorts underneath. I wore, like, the pasties. It's, like, backless, so you can't just, like... I guess you could wear something underneath.
Yeah.
But it would just, like, what's the point of it being backless if you're just gonna, like, wear a sports bra or something?
Yeah.
So I didn't do that. But... You know, it was good. I liked it. It was thick.
Do you want to start with?
I guess we'll do that yarn first then.
Yeah.
The actual topic of this episode is reviewing yarns, so we should do that. The yarn I used for the dress is the Red Heart Saver yarn, which I bought at Joann's, but you could also buy it at Michael's, or the internet somewhere. They do come in like the bulk skeins where it's like a ton of yarn, but this is just the normal one. The normal one is like 7 ounces, 364 yards. It's a size 4 yarn, so like medium, you know, general size. But it is acrylic. It's 100% acrylic, but you can put it in the washer and dryer, so that's nice. And it's like a good, like, it's always on sale for some reason. There's always a coupon or something. So like this cost me like $3.50 something. You know, it's really cheap. But, like, I was going to wear that dress. I knew I was going to wear it once.
Yeah.
I don't know when else I'm going to wear it. Is it even going to fit in the future?
It would work for, like, a holiday dress.
You're just bright. It's like a pine bright green.
Yeah.
This was yarn I had left over from another project that I was like, you know what? I want to make a dress. And I just started working on it. It took 1.5 skeins to make my dress.
Okay.
So, like, that's not that much. You know, so I spent, like, $7 on making my dress, which is, like, super affordable. If you're going to make a lot of stuff, aim for like a more affordable yarn. But this one, it's like cheap acrylic, so it may look floofy, if you're watching this, but it is not floofy. It is scratchy, I would say. Like, wearing it so tight on me was like super rough, and then it kind of like snags your skin almost. It's not like the smoothest or the softest. This is like not a yarn that I go out of my way to buy.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, I'm gonna make it for something I need cheap and fast, but I'm like, anything I care about, I'm not gonna make out of this yarn, because I can like afford nicer yarn. I don't like wasting my time on a yarn that I'm not gonna like what I have in the end.
Yeah.
So that's my yarn. I'd probably give it like a 5 out of 10. I mean, it's affordable, but it comes in so many colors, which is really nice. And you can get it like all the time. It never goes out of style, you know, but like, I don't like it that much, you know, like if I could just throw it in the trash. I don't like it.
Harsh for you.
Tora's gonna go eat it now,
Oh,
which
yes,
is
she
fine
will.
because it's worth $1, so whatever.
Yeah.
What about you? What you got?
All right, let's move on to my first yarn. This is the Lion brand Pima cotton, so 100% cotton. This is actually the yarn that I made my first ever crochet project out of. I'll show you that too because I'm proud of myself.
We talked about this on an
this.
earlier podcast episode too.
First thing she made me make, backless, like strappy crop top. Overall, this yarn works really well. Like, I've had this now for a while, and I don't wear it, to be fair, so there's not a lot of, like, washing and wear and tear going on with it, but it's, like, nice. It's not, like, fuzzing everywhere. I didn't have a lot of issues of, like, splitting the yarn or having little, like, fuzzes create knots when I was working on this one, which does happen with, like, wispier, like, fuzzier yarn sometimes.
Yeah, when you try to pull it apart, it's sort of like, it's not even the word,
snags
on itself.
You know, when you see little tufts of, like, stuff on the yarn before you buy it, like, that's gonna snag and make knots in your yarn, which is really annoying.
Super annoying.
Let's see, so this is 186 yards, like a medium weight. It's like a 4. I don't know.
Pretty standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a
Regular weight, easy to use. I did not rage quit my first project with this yarn. So.
That was from Joann's too, right?
Yes, yeah, this is from Joann's. I think all of my stuff is probably from Joann's except for one.
Tried and true
Yeah.
to your store.
I don't know. It works. Works for me.
It's good. It's a really cute color. I like that one
color.
a lot.
The color is called Spice. This was bought in like, I don't know if this is a regular color or if it's like seasonal, but it was bought in the fall.
It is
so
very
it might
fall.
be like a fall shade. Yeah, this one, I mean, 8 out of 10. I have minimal complaints about it.
I feel like this one does fuzz like a little bit more than I
fuzzes
would
a
like.
little bit. I wonder if I wash the stuff more, I think it will get fuzzier.
Well, because I have the exact same top
Yeah.
with just a different color of that yarn.
Okay, how did that go?
I feel like it washes totally fine.
Okay.
Honestly, like whatever fuzz that there is, it just sort of like
It looks
works
fine.
into itself and is totally fine. You know, it comes in a
Yeah.
lot of different colors. I really like it. I also have a sweater with this
Okay.
yarn, and there is like a little bit of fuzz, like your elbows, you know, like the wear points. But I mean, I washed that thing and it is totally super warm, super soft
Yeah.
for cotton.
It's like, it's soft and fine, but it's not like fuzzy and silky like a bamboo yarn or like something really comfy.
Yeah.
And it's not like fuzzy, so
Yeah, it's not like slick.
it works as like a clothing yarn, but you know, if you want something that feels nicer, like you could always opt for like a bamboo or like a really soft.
Kind of like that silky feeling.
Yeah. There is like other options, but this one works.
It's like a mid-tier price too.
Yeah, it wasn't like crazy expensive.
You don't break the bank
Because that was like getting into crochet too. You're not gonna buy like expensive yarn for your first project.
I mean, you could.
Well, I didn't.
I would not recommend that.
What if you hate it immediately?
That's true. Just like waste it all. Just try to like return this blob of yarn to the store and you're like, hey, so it's all tangled, but I would like my money back, please. This next yarn, I really like it. I'm using it for my temperature blanket, which I have. I can show you what it looks like. It comes in a lot of different colors. This is sort of a more niche yarn. It's the Cascade Yarns, which is like a Pacific Northwest brand yarn. It's the Noble cotton, which it's 100% cotton. It's super nice. It's also 220 yards, so like really typical length for one skein. I would say this is a size 5 hook, which is probably like a size 4 yarn.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't tell me. Sometimes yarns don't tell you what they want from you, but it's really nice.
That seems right. given this size 4 yarn.
Right? Like, it was like, there's a reason that it's sized accordingly.
It's a very pretty color. It's very, like, icy blue.
Yeah, I have it in a bajillion colors. So, this is my temperature blanket.
Okay, you're using the same yarn for the whole
It's
thing.
big.
Same
yeah.
brand. Okay.
It's the same kind of yarn, just in different colors. So, it is a bit of a shinier cotton. Like, there is definitely, like, some, like, sheen to it. It's not, like, a muted palette of colors. But it comes in all sorts of colors. Like, I got the hot pink range, all the way to, like, the icy blues, you know? It's, like, but it's really soft.
It is very soft.
Sometimes when you have cotton and you make something really big with it, it gets so heavy that, like, you don't want to use it or wear it because it just weighs you down. It's just so much yarn. But this is really lightweight. It's, like, it looks great, you know?
Yeah.
I love it.
This is, like,
a really good blanket.
What the Pima kind of missed on the, like, lightness and, like, comfierness.
Yeah, this one I've been working on since, like, February. There's no fuzz on my project.
No, not.
I don't need to, like, use a fabric shaver. There's nothing going on. The colors, well, it hasn't been washed yet, so I don't know if they fade in the wash. But
they're very bright, like very vibrant right now.
It is. It's really vibrant, and I love it. It's perfect for my blanket. I would make, like, some people don't like the shiny yarn, but I would make so many things out of this, like sweaters and definitely any sort of blanket I love with this. And it is a little bit more expensive because it is harder to find. I have to buy it from, like, a Washington local yarn store, or I have to buy it from, like, the Cascade Yarns website, and I think it's about, like, $13 per hank of yarn. So that's more expensive. But when you make a blanket that takes you a year to make, I buy yarn, like, every 2 months, so it kind of helps me justify the price of buying such an expensive yarn.
And you want to be able to use it and, like, be happy with the thing you make at the end of, like, a year's length project.
Yes, I didn't want to make something so big and something that took me so long that I was, like, unsatisfied with how it turned out.
Yeah.
So I, like, something big like that, I'll invest more money. I feel like I'm too nice to my yarn. It's like, I really like this yarn.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just because I really like my project that I really like the yarn that I would give it, like, probably, like, a 9 out of 10. I mean, I haven't washed it yet. I don't know what's supposed to happen to it. Like, it could all go out the window when you wash it. It says machine wash. Tumble dry low. Is that a myth? I mean, I would probably put it in the washer. I don't know if I would put it in the dryer.
Yeah, I would just hang it.
I feel like it would shrink. It's cotton.
I'll do this little one.
Oh, so we moved on to the good yarns. We're on to the hate yarns now.
Yeah. Well, I like the other one. We're going back and forth.
I have a hate yarn too.
This one, it's Jubilee yarn. It's like crochet thread. Very small. It's like a lace.
It looks like a thread you would sew with. Like, if you're not watching this, it's thin.
It's like, I don't think you're even going to be able to see it. Like, very thin. Do the makeup thing. It says that you can, like, wash it and dry it and stuff, but honestly, I wouldn't.
Do we even get that far?
No. No. So this is the one I was trying to make my, like, swim cover up with this one. And this is, like, we changed patterns and I did a couple rows to see if I liked it better. But it's just so thin. Like, it takes so long for anything to, like, take shape with it. And it was very hard. It kept getting into knots with itself, like dropping stitches, and just was being impossible to use. So
it's pretty soft though.
It's bamboo though. It's a bamboo, like, crochet thread.
I do like bamboo yarns.
It's very comfy. I'm definitely going to use it because I have, like, 4 of these. I bought this on Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah. The color is frost white, but I think they also had, like, more neutral kind of off-whites.
I should make a doily with this. I feel like that's what it would be good for.
It would be good for things like that, like lacy, small things. I think doing such a big project with it just gets really annoying.
Yeah, like, if you did, like, a really, like, intricate table runner.
This started with, like, a chain 300, you guys. It's unfortunate, and Ariane did have to do that for me twice.
It's a lot of counting.
But yeah, so, okay, so it's 60% bamboo, 40% tencel.
That's like a wood fiber.
Okay.
I love when it doesn't give you basic information.
Yeah, I bet it's on the, like, main package because this is like
a sketchy website.
It came in like a package of several.
It doesn't even tell you, like, the size on the label, which, like, it should.
It doesn't. It, like, barely told me anywhere.
Yeah, not very helpful.
So very soft, kind of not super user friendly.
Not a beginner yarn.
No, not a beginner yarn. Probably not a big project yarn if you aren't super patient. Yeah, but it's very soft. It would be very comfy for a project.
I don't even know.
But difficult to use. And now look at how tangly it is already.
Like, what would you use this for?
I don't know. I want it to be something. Maybe like a pillowcase. I don't know. What do you use? Like
I don't know. The only thing I ever used crochet thread for was I made a snowflake as like a Christmas decoration.
Maybe little things like that.
That's the only thing I've ever seen it.
It's too
used
soft
for.
to just like sit around though. Like it should be worn. I just don't know. Like,
it should just be thicker. And it would be great.
Yeah, that is where we went wrong here.
Yeah. What do you say like out of 10?
Oh man.
Like
I think this brand itself might be fine. It's just that it's so thin. But also I don't know, because it does tangle on itself all the time, and it kept like getting into knots and would not like
you couldn't
free.
frog any like work if you made a mistake.
Yeah,
I just saw you struggle trying to pull it apart.
Yeah, it like wouldn't undo. So
it would tear too if you pulled too hard.
It
just snapped in half.
Yeah, it's very thin. Brand itself might be fine. I don't want to judge that too harshly yet.
Like maybe they make other yarns.
Okay, this gets at least a 5. We're not worse than that one. It's just like,
I mean, just soft.
If you're better at this than me, you probably would have a fine time. But you might also get annoyed by the tangly. It's not going to unspool very nicely.
Usually crochet thread comes like on like almost like a spool.
Yeah,
you know,
almost should.
It should not be in like wound that way.
Yes, so we have some problems.
Some mistakes were made. Okay. Well, we can move on from that piece of trash. My other yarn, I like this yarn. This is how it comes when you get it from the store. This is also another Cascade Yarns, so like kind of a local thing. But they do make like their superwash wool, the 220 wool. That one is like pretty basic. You can buy that at like any yarn store really. But this is the Heritage Wave, which is a mix superwash wool and nylon. I know people are allergic to wool. I'm not allergic to wool. And like if you get a superwash wool, that's treated, so it's not going to be as scratchy. What it basically does is like the chemicals like break down the fiber. That's why it's not so scratchy, is because you're like kind of ruining it almost. But it makes it machine washable, and it makes it way softer. So I love this. This is pretty thin actually. It says like a size 1 to 2. A 2.75 millimeter hook or 1 to 2 knitting needles. So this is a thin yarn. This is a sock yarn. So I think that's like a category 2 or 3 is a sock yarn. But it's just so soft. It comes in 100 grams, like in a twist. So you have to wind it yourself. You literally cannot use this if you don't wind it, because it'll just be a big old mess.
Or you have them wind it at the store.
Yeah, when you buy it from a store and it comes like this, if you get it from a yarn store, not like a big box store, they'll be like, hey, do you want it wound? Especially even if you order it online, they'll like wind it and ship it to you. So it's super soft, really squishy, and I have used it in the solid gray color. I knitted a pair of socks with it. I mean, I wash these. They do lose a little bit of stitch definition when you wash it, but I mean, it's a sock. Like, that's a sock,
fair,
right?
It's a sock.
It has like a really like intricate pattern on the front. Like, there's a lot of texture, and then on the back, it's just solid. And it has like the little ribbed ankle cuff as an ankle sock. It was really. I had to use metal knitting needles because I think that's just a better experience than using like any other kind of knitting needle. It does have a bit of fuzz, like especially on the bottom where you like your foot is on the ground or in your shoe or whatever. You know, like there's a little bit of fuzz, but there's still like amazing stitch definition in this. The ribbing on the ankle and I don't know what kind of knit this is, but it's like the textured knit on the front where it's like height gets taller and lower. You know, I don't know what this word is.
Okay.
But it's like diamond-y patterned on the front. So it's really cute. And these are wool socks, so I don't wear them in the summer, really.
Yeah.
But like they're good for thick boots. Or just like wearing around the house when your feet get cold because it's cold outside. But it's super nice. I have not crocheted with this yarn. I feel like you could. I mean, there's crocheting out there that uses thin yarn like this. I just wanted to know how to make a pair of socks. And that's what this is. This is to make more socks. But it's so soft and squishy. Like, this sock is very squishy. Like, if you made a pillow out of this, or you could crochet a sweater. Yeah. You could knit a sweater. But you could crochet a sweater, too, with this yarn. You don't need to knit. Like, you could use a yarn for whatever you want. But I love it. It is pricey, though.
It is nice. Like, I'm not a fan of wool yarn at all. Like, I find it too scratchy. This one is a lot better because of the way it's treated. Like, it feels like something I would actually wear or like want to have around. I don't really like wool clothing very usually, so.
Yeah, I don't really notice it in the sock. It is like $13 a skein according to the internet.
How much comes in it?
220 yards?
$4.37.
You're right, that's a lot of yarns.
That's a lot of yarn.
It is a thin yarn, so I think they tend to put more like per
Mm-hmm.
like twist when they sell it to you, which is nice. That makes a lot of socks. I think I made like 2 pairs of socks out of this. Well, I guess 2 socks. 1 pair of socks. And then I have some leftover yarn. I think I'd probably make a 3rd sock. But like, well, am I gonna make 3 socks? So I didn't do that. It's just sitting in the basket. Yeah, you could make like a little baby hat out of it. Something really cute because it's really soft. I do like it. I think the fact that it is like this comes in like a sock yarn does sort of limit your creations with crocheting. For crocheting, it's so thin, probably like a 7 out of 10 because you're probably not going to use this as much as you would use like this yarn, like a different, like a size 4 yarn. You know, there goes my dog. If you can hear her nails, she's walking towards the door right now.
Back to my square. This is what I'm working on right now. It's 2 different yarns for this like interior circle and then the like square stitching. So the interior, it's the Bernat baby blanket. It's like a dappled color, which is really fun. So you get like some squares that are going to be more like brown, some squares that are literally like white, and it gives you some like variation. This yarn I really like. Haven't had any issues with it yet. It's a size 6, so it is super bulky. I'm using like a 9mm hook right now.
It's a big
but
hook.
These are like, this is like 11 inches across. Like it's a blanket. It needs to be big and comfy and fuzzy. And it is super soft. This is made of 100% polyester. So do with that what you will, whatever your opinions are on that. But it comes as 300 grams, so 220 yards, very standard. This one skein made me 6 of these. So I'm gonna need like 4 more to finish my blanket. But they're not like crazy expensive. I just ordered some, I think it was like $40 for another like 4 of these.
There's always coupons when you get stuff.
Yes.
On like you do the in-store pickup at Joann's, and then you get 20% off more. It's so nice. Like it makes it so affordable.
And then this is the outside part. I think you knew which brand. I think it's just the Joann's like brand of the same thing, the same like blanket yarn. Definitely not as good. I think it was cheaper though, but it is like kind of annoying. It sticks to your hook and to itself a lot more, and that's just kind of annoying, like trying to like space everything out and like make your stitches. It doesn't go quite as fast. It's just not like quite as smooth. So I would buy the like name brand over this.
I think it's called Big Twist. Big Twist, I want to say.
That sounds right. And it's less soft. Like if you feel them, you can feel the difference.
You're right.
Yeah.
One is floofier.
I'm glad that it's only the outside parts.
Yeah.
And it's not uncomfortable, but like I wouldn't make an entire blanket with this brand of yarn.
Well, they came in different colors, which is why you had to buy the other one.
Yes, because I wanted just like the outline kind shade to be like nice and neutral, and I think this only had like a really bright white or like gray.
Yeah, they make a lot of colors, but not a lot of solid colors. There's a lot of like ombres and
it's
speckles.
A lot of ombres, the dappled, which is really fun. I was excited when I made like this one. I don't know if you can tell. This is like white, and then this is like brown. So everything is like a shade
starting
in between there. The ones I'm making right now are like pretty much tan instead of like this like pink. So it'll be fun to like put it together and make it cute. Okay, so the Bernat yarn, probably, I haven't had any issues with it. I don't know, give it like a 7 or 8, you know? This one can have like a 6, I guess. She started the bar kind of high with 5, so
I really like it.
Our ratings are a little condensed, but I mean, it works well. It's just, it's not as comfy as I want it to be, and it's like harder to use.
Well, I would say this yarn in general is a little bit harder to use because it is so thick. It's like a bulky yarn.
This bulky has been fine for me though, because you're using a big hook.
Sometimes it can just be hard to like see the top of your, like where you're supposed to work into because it's so
if your pattern
floofy.
Wasn't super repetitive, probably. But like when you know exactly what you're looking for and it's the same 3 rows around, like it's fine. Just have a stitch marker, you know?
Well, in the scheme of floofy yarns, I'm going to swap out my last yarn. I'm going to do a different one instead because I got this guy.
Because I have a penguin.
Yeah, this is like a decoration.
He's so cute.
But I mean, I made this penguin.
You should make him a hat.
If you can't tell how big it is, it's larger than my head. It's like, if you're not watching this,
He's
you
so
need
round.
to go to the YouTube because it's so squishy and soft. Like, this is one of the most favorite things that I've made.
It's nice.
I didn't make this pattern.
Wings.
Like Punk Crochet, I don't remember what his name is.
We'll tag
Probably
him,
put it
maybe.
in the description.
She'll have to find it.
I'll find it for you. I have the pattern. He's like a Pacific Northwest crocheter too. But he made this really cool, it's like a Christmas penguin, and it's made with the like faux fur yarn, which is technically like a bulky yarn, but what it is like a thin string that the faux fur is like woven into. So it's not like fluffy all the way around. There's like an extra bulky, like a jumbo yarn that is fluffy all the way around, but this is the thinner version where it's just fluffy on one side. But goodness, is it hard to work with a yarn like this? Like, you cannot see any of the stitches.
No,
It just looks like a plushie. Like, I bought this. And you can definitely like squish your finger, like you can feel the texture is wrong for like it's not solid like a stuffed animal. Like, especially the bottom where it gets sort of like more stretched. Like, you put your whole finger through the hole into the stuffed animal, but luckily like none of the stuffing comes out or anything.
Yeah.
But it is definitely like, it's all made with single crochets, the most basic stitch that there is.
The whole thing?
The whole thing is single crochets, increases, decreases, but single crochets. Nothing like crazy, you know? But that just means like you need to like feel where your stitches are, and you need to know what you're doing. Not a beginner yarn. It makes really cool stuff, but it is difficult to work with. It doesn't wear as well as I would like it to wear. Like on the bottom, it does sort of like your stuffed animals, like the fur gets like matted, and it is expensive too because it is like a specialty yarn. So you can buy it at Joann's. There's like the faux fur, and then there's like the thick and quick faux fur, which is like the jumbo yarn that has even less per hank, so you have to buy like way more of them because it has so little yards per thing. So I would get like the skinnier version. It probably look like, you're not gonna, unless you're making a hat where you want fur on both sides. But this is like a stuffed animal. You don't need fur on the inside. You're not gonna see it. It's stuffed. So, but I really like it. Yeah. I mean, for a specialty yarn, it is like polyester. You know, it's fake fur, so you're not allergic to it. But it's probably like I would say like a 7. You know, like I knew what I was doing. I didn't struggle. It's kind of weird when you look at it just as a singular strand of yarn. But then when you make stuff out of it, like, it's a whole new level of like stuff you can make. It really ups your game when you're crocheting.
I imagine you just have to really be like paying attention, counting your stitches, counting your rows.
Yeah,
like,
it's hard to count
stitch
too.
markers.
You have to like touch every single stitch to count it.
Like you just gotta do it as you go, and then be like, wait, let me double check because I can't like see it.
It's definitely difficult.
Yeah, it does.
But I mean, like, I got
so
this
cute,
really
though.
cute penguin out of it, and had for a year, and it looks pretty good still. You know.
It does. It looks great.
Yeah, there's definitely some like matting in the fur, and like the texture of a crocheted stuffed animal takes a little bit to get used to.
Have you washed it at all?
No.
We'll see what happens.
I've never washed it.
I don't know how that would go.
Don't judge me for not washing my stuffed animals.
What do you do? It's fine. It's clean.
Do you guys wash your stuffed animals? Because I don't do that. I barely even wash like
I have like
my blankets
I
or
only
my
like
sweatshirts.
squishmallows, and those I should wash.
Never. Every like when my white stuffed animals get sort of dirty, that's when I wash them. But that's about it. I don't normally like put, because I'm worried they're gonna get ruined.
Yeah.
It's hard to even wash your crochet stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want to ruin it. I really like my penguin.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Lots of yarn has happened.
On that, I think those are like the yarns that we've used recently in projects. Yeah. Kind of just our thoughts on using them. If there are certain yarns that you want us to review, we'll
buy them.
We'll buy them. Like maybe don't send us like a $200 yarn, but like
I'll buy a few. Like I just bought this one yarn. Haven't even used it yet, and it's just chilling in the basket.
Impulse buy. Yeah, so that was our thoughts on all of these yarns that we've been using recently and our experiences using them, and some thoughts before you go out and buy them, you know, whether they might be right for your project or preferences or skill level.
There's a lot of online yarns, and like maybe you don't want to buy it or the color looks different in the photo. So like if it's something we've used before, we'll tell you about it. Or you know, or like I'm always buying yarns to try new stuff or new colors, new lines.
And I have like I love things that are like dappled or speckled or ombre, but like I made a beanie once and I did not like the way it came out, so it's always hard to know what it'll look like once you actually make something out of it. So if you want to see squares of a color or get some thoughts on different ones, let us know what yarns you've been wondering about, and we will look at them for you.
But until then,
Yeah.
we'll be back next week or like the week after that, whenever this comes out. We'll be back doing more podcast episodes, definitely all the time.
Yes.
And then more video episodes to come.
Yeah.
We'll do some competition series. We'll have some guests, crochet nights, stuff.
Yeah, I think our next one will be Halloween fall themed, so stick around for that.
Yeah, we'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in and check us out on our other platforms.
Okay, bye.
Bye.